Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Be Perfectly Blended. If you've been here before, thanks so much for coming back. And if you're new, thanks so much for clicking on. Come along with me today as I make some chili in the slow cooker and reset my home. I'll start by browning up my hamburger meat, and I do season my hamburger meat. I use a little cayenne pepper, seasoning salt, garlic, and onion powder. I also use a touch of Slap Your Mama, and then I like this Kinder barbecue, and of course black pepper. Then over here I have an onion, and then I have the beans that I'm using. I'm using kidney beans, black beans, chili beans, and then I also have a green pepper, a red pepper, my tomatoes, and tomato sauce. Here I'm just continuing to season and cook my hamburger meat. And I love to use this little tool to kind of break it apart and make it kind of all nice and fine, almost like taco meat. In my last shop with me at Winco, my grandson threw some cans out of the cart. That was one of them. Anyways, now I'm just chopping up the onions and the bell peppers to go into the chili. I really don't have a rhyme or reason on how I chop. I just kind of cut it up and then continue to chop it as finely as I think it needs to be, because we do really like it to cook down in the chili where you still can see the coloring, but you know, there's zero crunch to it. Once I'm done chopping up the vegetables, I'll go over here and open up my tomatoes, and I will pour those onto my hamburger meat, kind of like how you do for sloppy joes, just so it kind of gets into the hamburger meat before I put it all into the crock pot, if that makes sense. I also did add a little pinch of sugar, but I don't think I was recording when I did that. Once you have the hamburger meat in, next I added a little bit of beef broth, my can of tomato paste, and then just start adding all your cans of all your beans. I'm not sure how much beef broth I added, maybe like a quarter of one of those cartons, but you just kind of add according to how much beans and meat you have. And then if you feel like you need a little more water, like I did, I just added a little more water, and then I topped off the top with some of the seasonings. And then this is the seasoning packet I use. I use McCormick, but you can use whatever one you want. It's just one chili packet that I added to the crock pot. Once it's all in, I gave it a good mix and let it cook. Now it's time to go ahead and tackle these dishes. So I'm going to start by filling up the sink over here and getting that all ready so that I can put my dishes into soak. When I do soak my dishes, I prefer Dawn, the Blue Dawn dish soap, and a splash of bleach. I forgot I had this paper towel in this cup. This is a cup from work. Whenever I finish my coffee, I stick a paper towel in it so nothing will drip when I throw the cup back into my bag. Now that all the dishes are soaking, I'm going to go ahead and clean out this other side of the sink and get that all wiped out. All right, now that the crock pot's been on for about an hour on high so far, and my dishes have been soaking, I'm going to go ahead and scrub them up and rinse them off. Right before I started my chili, I went ahead and threw a load of laundry in the wash. So while my dishes were soaking, I went down and threw the load into the dryer and went ahead and started another wash so that that can be washing while I'm up here finishing up the dishes and cleaning. For me, this is one of the most satisfying parts of hand washing is letting out the water and just really giving your sink a good rinse and all the yuckies going down. Let me know, leave a comment down below. Is this one of your favorite parts, hand washing, or do you even hand wash dishes? Leave a comment, let me know. Well, now it's been about 2 hours with the chili on high, so I'm going to go ahead and switch it down to low and just let it slow cook as I finish cleaning up my home. It's about at this time as I began to wipe down my microwave and my stove that I noticed my little lights that I get from the Dollar Tree, and I keep them plugged in up there on top of my stove to put a little light there. I realized they were burned out. They have since been replaced. I really like having light up there because it just gives it kind of a warm glow. Over here, I have the tray for the cornbread that I'm going to make with the chili. And I'm just keeping that out because I don't want to put it away and then forget to make the cornbread. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to cleaning the outside of my fridge and getting that all wiped down. Once I finish moving everything out of the kitchen so that I can clean the kitchen floor, I'm going to go ahead and start by giving it a nice good sweep. Now I'm going to go ahead and start with my method, and I just spray it onto the floor, and I use one of my yellow rags, slightly damp, and I just go ahead and wipe the floor, working my way all the way out of the kitchen. Once I let that dry, I'll go back in with some mopping glove. Once that is dry, I go ahead and go in with Mop and Glow, and I do the same thing. I just kind of put it on, spread it around, and kind of wipe it around in circles and work my way out. This is what gives your linoleum floors the nice shine. And then go ahead and once it's dry, put everything back in. Moving on to the living room, I'm just kind of picking up some toys and some of the doggy stuff and getting that all put away. And then here I'm just folding up my blanket. This is the main couch I sit on and the blanket I use. I did a video not too far back where I replaced my dining room table. This is my new dining room table. It is square, it sits up a little higher, and I just absolutely love how it fits in the space. Our old dining room table was kind of your regular height or traditional height, and it was a rectangular shape. But anyways, if you're interested, you can go back and look at that video. I've moved on now to dusting the rest of the wood furniture in my home, my coffee table and my entertainment center, get that all wiped down. I have a mom sign that was out for Mother's Day, so I need to get that put away. And now on to cleaning the glass in my home. I'm going to go ahead and wipe down my frames, my TV, and move on to my windows. As I mentioned before, my grandson loves to look out the window, especially if the dog's out back. But of course, that leads to a lot of fingerprints. I'm also listening to camping prepping vlogs in the background as I clean. Super excited for the upcoming camping season. Leave a comment down below and let me know, do you and your family camp? Here I'm putting back on this cover that we have for our couch for our dog. I put this in the wash right before I started the chili, and so that's been drying out. So I went ahead and put that back on and fluff up her pillows and kind of get off any excess hair and start vacuuming. Now that I'm done vacuuming, I'll go ahead and give the room a nice spray, get everything fresh with some Febreze, and off to get the laundry. Here I have 2 loads of laundry, one light and one dark. I do the laundry for myself, my husband, and my youngest. It smells so good in my house right now, between the Downy, the Febreze, and the chili cooking in the kitchen. So good. For me, I think this is the part I like least about doing laundry, matching up the socks. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you don't like about laundry, or if you just don't like laundry, period. Once I finished putting the laundry away, I went ahead and made the cornbread, and then I topped the chili off with a little cheese, and dinner is ready. Thanks so much for coming along with me today as I made my chili in the slow cooker and cleaned my home and got my laundry done. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks again, and I hope to see you in the next one.